Yosemite Falls, situated at Yosemite Valley in Yosemite National Park in California, in U.S. Yosemite Falls is a branch of Merced River. Her total height is 739 meters, or 2,425 feet. Yosemite Falls was discovered in 21st of March in 1851. She consists of 3 drops. Highest of longest drop is 436 meters, or 1,430 feet. The falls consist of 3 drops. First one is Upper Yosemite Fall. The 1,430 foot, or 440 meters plunge comprises over half the total drop. The trails from the valley floor and down from other park areas outside the valley lead to both the top and base of Upper Yosemite Fall. The upper fall is formed by the swift waters of Yosemite Creek, which, after meandering through Eagle Creek Meadow, drop over the edge of a hanging valley in a spectacular and deafening show of force. Second one is Middle Cascades. Between the 2 obvious main plunges there are a series of 4 smaller plunges collectively referred to as the Middle Cascades. Taken together these account for a total drop of 675 feet, or 206 meters, more than twice the height of the lower fall. Because of the narrow, constricted shape of the gorge in which these drops occur and the lack of public access, they are rarely noted. Third one is Lower Yosemite Fall. The final 320 foot or 98 meters drop adjacent to an accessible viewing area provides the most used viewing point for the waterfalls. Yosemite Creek emerges from the base of the lower fall and flows into the Merced River nearby. In all but the wettest years, the falls cease flowing altogether in late summer or fall. A very small number of rock climbers have taken the opportunity to climb the normally inaccessible rock face beneath the falls, although this is an extraordinarily dangerous undertaking. A single afternoon thunderstorm could restart the falls, sweeping the climbers off the face. The Ahwahnee-Chee legend. The main village of the native people of Yosemite Valley, the Ahwahnee-Chee, was located at the base of the falls. The Ahwahnee-Chee people called the waterfall Cholok and believed that the plunge pool at its base was inhabited by the spirits of several witches, called the Peloti. An Ahwahnee-Chee folktale describes a woman going to fetch a pail of water from the pool, and drawing it out full of snakes. Later that night, after the woman had trespassed into their territory, the spirits caused the woman's house to be sucked into the pool by a powerful wind, taking the woman and her newborn baby with it. Name origin. The origins of place names in Yosemite by Anne-Marie Brown, author of Moon Yosemite, Sequoia and Kings Canyon. Many of Yosemite's place names were given by the men of the Mariposa Battalion. Dr. Lafayette Bonnell, who traveled with the battalion, questioned the captured Ahwahnee-Chees about their names for the valley's natural features. Some of their words he found too difficult to pronounce, so he substituted a Spanish or English word with roughly the same meaning. The name Yosemite itself is from the Indian word Yosemite, which meant grizzly bear. The Indian tribe that lived in the valley were called Yosemites by Caucasians and by other Indian tribes because they lived in a place where grizzly bears were common and they were reportedly skilled at killing the bears. The Mariposa Battalion named the valley after the Yosemite Indians, whom, ironically, they'd been sent there to evict. In a further twist, the Indians didn't call themselves Yosemite, they called themselves Ahwahnee-Chees, and they called the valley Ahwahnee, or place of a gaping mouth. Merced River. From its source on the south side of Mount Lyell at 13,114 feet, through a glacially carved canyon within Yosemite National Park, the river flows downstream to Lake McClure Reservoir. Historical artifacts create an area of historic and cultural significance along the river. American Indian and late 19th century American cultures flourished along these rivers. Evidence that reflects trade, travel and settlement patterns abounds in an intricate and interconnected landscape of archaeological sites representing this cultural history. The Merced River is the product of geologic and hydrologic processes that continue to shape the landscape. The river flows through glacially carved canyons, over sheer cliffs and stair-step river morphology, through an alluvial landscape in Yosemite Valley and past a classic boulder bar in El Portal. Riparian and meadow ecosystems within the river corridor include alpine and subalpine meadows along the river stretches. Dependent on these habitats are a variety of native, endemic and/or rare plant and animal species, such as the threatened limestone salamander. The Merced River sustains numerous small meadows and riparian habitat with high biological integrity. Yosemite National Park. Yosemite National Park is best known for its waterfalls, towering granite monoliths, deep valleys, and ancient giant sequoias. On October 1, 1890, Yosemite became a national park, and more than 125 years later, it's still wowing visitors. Wildlife. Amphibians. Yosemite is home to a small variety of amphibians as compared to more temperate or tropical climates. This may be due in part to past glacial activity, and in part the park's Mediterranean climate, which includes hot, dry summers and cold, wet winters. 11 native and 1 non-native amphibian species can be found in Yosemite. 3 of these species, the Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frog, the Yosemite toad, and the Mount Lyell salamander, are only found in the Sierra Nevada of California. The yellow-legged frog was recently documented just outside the park in the Tuolumne River. Sierra newt can be seen most often between November and May when migrating to breeding sites. The Pacific tree frog is the most common frog in Yosemite. The diminutive Pacific tree frog is Yosemite's most common frog species. You can find them throughout the park, at all elevations and in nearly all habitats. The Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frog was once the most abundant vertebrate found in Yosemite's high country lakes and streams. The National Park Service crews work to eliminate non-native bullfrogs from Yosemite Valley. The non-native bullfrog is a voracious predator that has been implicated in the decline of many native animals. Birds. Yosemite provides birds with 750,000 acres of unusually diverse habitats. An astounding 262 species of birds have been documented in Yosemite, including 165 resident and migratory species. Of note, 46 species have been recorded at least 4 times, and another 53 species have been recorded fewer than 4 times. American dipper, California spotted owl, peregrine falcons, California spotted owl, migrant flocks of warblers, vireos, flycatchers, and tanagers with brightly colored feathers are the famous bird species of the area. Yosemite National Park is designated by the American Bird Conservancy as a globally important bird area. Insects and their relatives. There are 30,000 species of insects in California. Arthropoda includes insects, spiders, scorpions, millipedes, ticks, crustaceans, and many other animals. The important role of insects is clear to scientists. Insects and other arthropods found in a sample from a Yosemite meadow might include ants, as well as mites, beetles, leafhoppers, flies, spiders, wasps, bristletails, true bugs, grasshoppers, caddisflies, moths, butterflies, and lacewings. One insect evades scientists statewide. The Valley elderberry longhorn beetle, noted in Yosemite and the surrounding area, and listed as federally threatened. While new insect species, believed to exist nowhere else in the world, have been recently discovered in caves within Yosemite. Did you know? During fall, male tarantulas go on the move seeking females with which to mate. Visitors might see tarantulas crossing roads, especially. For safety reasons, keep your distance. Reptiles. Yosemite National Park contains a high diversity of reptile. It's possible to find 22 species, including 1 turtle, 7 lizards, 1 skink, and 13 snakes, in the park. Lizards. The Sierra fence lizard is the most readily observed reptile in the park. The San Diego and Sierra alligator lizards are almost as common as the Sierra fence lizard. However, their habit of hiding under rocks and logs during the day makes them much less obvious. The coast horned lizard is extremely rare. And turtles. Yosemite's lone turtle species, the western pond turtle, inhabits a wide range of habitats including ponds, lakes, marshes, rivers, and streams. Turtles may be found in the Tuolumne River and in several locations in the northwestern portion of the park below 6,500 feet in elevation. Snakes. Garter snakes are the most common snake observed in the park. The park contains 3 species of garter snakes, including the Sierra garter snake. The Sierra garter snake is highly aquatic. The Sierra mountain king snake with red, black, and cream-colored bands encircling its body is the park's most eye-catching snake. Northern Pacific rattlesnake. Of the 13 species of snakes found in Yosemite, only the northern Pacific rattlesnake is venomous. Fish. Native fish are only found in the lower elevations of Yosemite. Native fish, including California roach, Sacramento pike minnow, hardhead, and riffle sculpin, inhabit the lower reaches of the Merced River up to the vicinity of El Portal. Non-native fish, primarily trout, have been introduced throughout Yosemite. Today, at least 9 non-native fish species exist in Yosemite, including bluegill, smallmouth, 5 trout species, and 2 trout hybrids. September-October is the best time to visit falls. The fall introduces cooler temperatures and fewer crowds to Yosemite National Park. Tioga Road and Tuolumne Meadows often remain open until November. Hiking. The most challenging hiking trail leading to the top is about 6 miles long and takes about 2 to 4 hours to climb, depending on a person's experience and preparedness. The most popular and easily accessible trail begins at the bridge near the bottom of the lower fall. Park rangers treat visitors to complimentary lectures about the Yosemite Valley and Yosemite Falls, including descriptions of various hiking trails. Park rangers also provide assistance to visitors and give explanations about safety measures and regulations. Yosemite famous? Yosemite National Park is best known for its waterfalls, towering granite monoliths, deep valleys, and ancient giant sequoias. On October 1, 1890, Yosemite became a national park, and more than 125 years later, it's still wowing visitors. What is special about Yosemite Falls? Yosemite is home to one of the tallest waterfalls in the world. At 2,425 feet, Yosemite Falls is one of the tallest on the planet, but did you know, it's actually made up of 3 separate falls? Few important facts about this legendary California landmark. 1. 26 years before it was a national park, President Lincoln signed the Yosemite Land Grant on June 30, 1864, protecting the Mariposa Grove and Yosemite Valley. 2. Yosemite's granite rock formations glow like fire at sunset. 3. The park's diverse landscape supports more than 400 species. 4. Yosemite is home to one of the tallest waterfalls in the world. But it's actually made up of 3 separated falls as Upper Yosemite Fall, the Middle Cascades and Lower Yosemite Fall. 5. Yosemite sees almost 3/4 of its visitors in 6 months. 6. Yosemite is the only national park to bid to host the Winter Olympics. 7. Yosemite is a climber's playground. 8. Yosemite is one of the few places in the U.S. where you can see a rainbow at night. 9. During certain times of year, some of Yosemite's creeks are rushing slushes.